So the first video I ever made for the D21 had to do with the turn signals. They worked, but they weren't working. The lights weren't working. And it took a little bit of trial and error, research and all that to finally figure out what the actual problem was. It ended up being the hazard switch. At the time, I never actually recorded the process of how to take this off. And honestly, I didn't even remember when I thought back on it. I didn't actually remember how I managed to remove the hazard switch at all. I just couldn't remember because it was new to me then. Taking all this, the like clips and harnesses apart because they were so old and so different from newer vehicles. It was like trying to read Chinese. But I have a greater understanding of all this now than I did back then. So I already took off the steering wheel column, the cover, just to save time. And I even unbolted the turn signal switch and the wiper switch. You don't actually need to take these off, but I did it just to have more space to work with. You don't actually have to physically unplug the harness, but just physically unbolt them from their spot. There's 2 screws for that, and it's the same thing for the wiper switch. Okay, hopefully I can get this in frame and in focus. Grab my flathead. At the bottom of this switch, hopefully we can see. I can get this. Right now I'm pressing wedged. This flathead is wedged. Hopefully if I can get. It's tough to look at the phone and then look at what I'm trying to do through the phone. It's weird. Okay, so it's wedged in right now, and you do want to be careful because these things are brittle and old. But before you do that, before I forget, you want to take these 2 harnesses off. This one you just squeeze together and she slides right off. This one next to it you press down and she slides right off. And again, you want to move those out of the way so they're not in your way. Let's see if I can keep the phone in focus and then look at what the heck I'm doing. But there's 2 clips on right here and then one back here. The one back here is damn near impossible to get to. But this one, you want to get your flathead in there just enough. I'll try to do this in one shot and not break anything, because that's the last thing I want to do. I don't want to break anything. It's a pain in the ass. Oopsie. But yeah, you just want to give that a little pry, and the hazard switch pops out. But that's not the end of it, because again, with the problem I was having was the inside. The connections on the inside were dirty and grimy. Now I'm gonna set the phone off to the side and hopefully keep this in frame so I can show you how to take this apart. As you want to actually, this is upright. This is the position that it would normally be at, but you want to have it upside down because there's a bearing inside, a small tiny bearing, and you don't want to lose that. So let me pause the phone real quick. Okay, So hopefully you can see this clip right here. I'm going to take your flathead. I'll try my best to keep this in frame. Again, you want to be gentle. And pry that just loose enough. It's already loose. Sorry, I keep getting out of frame. So she's loose. And there's spots down here that you can slide your screwdriver or your flathead through and just wedge, just slightly, little wedge, and turn. Again, you gotta be careful. You don't want to break anything or lose that bearing. Because I can hear it loose. I think it already slid off of its spot. And I seriously don't want to lose it. Let's see. Come on. There's two clips in the back as well. And you just twist once you wedge your flathead in there. Just twist just a shade, just enough to get the clip out. And here's the inside. Hopefully you can see that. The inside of the or the bottom, yeah, the inside bottom, also the same of the hazard switch. All of these connections right here, including the other end. Hopefully you can see that. When I took them apart, they were just covered in dust, lint, and grime. And let me flip this real quick because there's a bearing. Hopefully you can see that. It just, hopefully you can see that on the palm of my hand. Okay, well, here is the spot for that bearing. Hopefully you can see that. You want everything to go back in its spot. And this, let me remove the bearing real quick just to get it out of the way. But the hazard, that portion of the entire mechanism pops out of place. And if I'm not mistaken, these connections, these copper connections come out as well. But what I did to clean them was, I used at the time, because that's all I had, I used WD-40. But there's a actual cleaning, electrical cleaning spray that's made for this. That's probably a lot better. But to get all this back into place, you pretty much follow the same process that you did taking it off. The double clips, but you also want to make sure that bearing is back in its place. You don't want to lose that bearing. At all. And once you get everything aligned, you just squeeze back in place. And that's all she wrote. Once you've cleaned her out, cleaned all the components. Let me pause the phone real quick and then I'll. Okay, so here's the underside, and here's the two clips, or it's essentially the same clip, but they're from the front and the back. That's what holds the switch to its spot, which is right here. So you just slide it back in place and press down a little bit. There she goes, she's good to go. Here's the connections, hopefully that's in frame. Squeeze and press in. And the other one, you know, it's probably a good idea to do it beforehand, but before you even get this far, but it's all good. It should slide in. If I can use my other hand. There we go. Don't want to strip anything. That's odd. What? I think I had the wrong. Yeah, I had the wrong little screw. It's all good. It's easy to mistake and stuff. Same for the other side. I can get that frame. And the rest is just a matter of inserting the steering column cover and, you know, bolting back on. But yeah, I really just wanted to show you guys, because I've been wanting to do this for forever. And again, for the life of me, after I did it the first time, and since I didn't record the process, I honestly couldn't remember how I did this to begin with, how I physically removed the hazard switch. But hopefully this will help you out a little bit, because it sucks trying to take something off and not knowing how it actually comes off, like these old switches and stuff. It's a pain in the ass. I know it was frustrating for me because I had no idea how to do it, and I didn't want to break anything. But anyway, hopefully this will help you out, and I'll see you.